in, everybody, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zack Brown. Well, we had an awesome race, in my opinion, at North Wilkesboro Speedway. The entire weekend was awesome. The atmosphere was phenomenal. We're going to spend a lot of this episode on that, talking about that, and go over some of the dirt racing and touch on NHRA, and tell you about who got the pole for the Indianapolis 500 for next week. But as always, this episode is brought to you by W Energy. Go ahead and go to w.gg, use promo code ZBHP to get 10% off your order. Hydration is a big key for the summer, so go check them out. They're more than just an energy supplement. They've got hydration supplements as well. Get you ready for the long, hot summer coming up, and also get some of that energy to get you through those hard days as well. W.gg, promo code ZBHP. All right, let's get to it, everybody. All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. And the Truck Series were also there this weekend. They were there on Saturday afternoon. I don't even really need to say much because it was domination all the way around by none other than Kyle Larson. In the Truck Series on Saturday afternoon, Kyle Larson filled in for the number 7 Spire Motorsports truck for the injured Alex Bowman. And he fell back a little bit, started getting, then eventually got into a rhythm, figuring it out, and used that concrete apron to really get around and shoot off the bottom a lot better than everybody else did. And he was able to win that in dominating fashion towards the second 2/3, I guess, of the race. And takes care of business in a truck. And last week was Xfinity, and he also had a sprint car race earlier in the week. So a lot of excitement there, and impressive how well he can just drive pretty much damn anything. And it is just raw talent, and they were talking about it here in the All-Star race, which I'm about to touch on in the booth. But you could tell Darrell Waltrip was a huge fan of Kyle Larson and how he can just race a car. Funny thing is, they were talking about he's not the best, like, mechanically inclined or anything, but he just knows how to drive the damn thing. And yeah, I mean, it's clear he's one of the best out there, and he knows how to get a good feeling of the car, and is able to make in-race adjustments, which really works out well because Cliff Daniels also very good at making in-race adjustments as well. So the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway, still so cool to say, so awesome. Again, just seeing that crowd up there is just amazing. The atmosphere, the fans. It was a fun weekend from what it appeared. Got to watch it on TV with the new little girl in our family. And she's 1-for-1 right now with Larson winning, so good girl there. It was a 200-lap race at Wilkesboro for the All-Star race, which I think with an All-Star race you want to see a kind of different format to change things up other than just having 200-lap runs, basically. And I enjoyed it, and the Kyle Larson fans, like myself, enjoyed it because it was domination. But crazy thing is, tires were so significant just within 13, 14 laps. There was a caution that came out. Larson goes ahead and gets tires, and he speeds on pit road, and you're just like, damn, it's just another one of those unlucky things. He's just not going to be able to do anything with it because there wasn't really a whole lot of passing, or so everybody thought. You know, Larson showed how do you pass at North Wilkesboro, nice little bumps, and just get a little under them, shoot up under them. And it wasn't just the tires that was changed on that car. They made Darrell Waltrip said the best, the magic wand over that car, and completely changed it around, and that car just was bad fast. Once he got the lead, he wasn't looking back. He went up from the dead last to first, and I don't know how many laps exactly, but impressive. And you just thought, the way his luck has happened this year, he's had one of the fastest cars every single week. Something was going to happen. Then it was just long runs, and that car just got better and better and better at the long run, and he was able to kind of control that gap. And they were like, oh, they might be closing in. They're not going to close in a 4-second gap in North Wilkesboro Speedway. But again, what Larson said, his exact words, that's an old school ass whooping. It had an old school track. So kind of fitting how that happened. So he sweeps the weekend. There's only been 2 winners since 1996. Jeff Gordon and Kyle Larson at North Wilkesboro. So Hendrick Motorsports definitely decided to get around there, and they showed dominating fashion once again in the All-Star race. Kyle Larson's 3rd All-Star victory at 3 different tracks. He was hyped up. Caitlin did a shotgun. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool. And I don't really think they should have the All-Star race there again, unless you want to change the format. Just kind of that track's just built for like longer runs and working strategies and stuff like that. I think it needs to be like a 400 lap points race, which would be awesome. So much fun. That would be so awesome. Just like a Saturday night points race. That'd be awesome. So NASCAR, please try to do that. I think that'd be really cool. All right. And also my picks this weekend. We don't need to talk about any of that. Dad won outright. We don't need to go talk about any of that stuff. So let's dive in real quick. Stay on asphalt into NHRA. We'll move over to dirt racing here in a minute. So the Pro Stock Motorcycles at Chicago. It was a battle between Gage Herrera and Chip Ellis, and Gage Herrera shows his dominance once again. Gets the win in Chi-Town at Route 66 Speedway. Raceway. Going to Pro Stocks. It was Derek Kramer versus Dallas Glenn, and Dallas Glenn comes out with the victory over him. And it was Derek Kramer has some issues on it, and Dallas Glenn gets a easy win there in the Pro Stock Series. Moving on to the funny cars and nitro cars. Well, I picked Ron Capps. He made it to the finals, but he was beaten by Tim Wilkerson. And everything's happening in the right lane right now. That was the lane of choice, clearly. And Ron Capps had a better reaction time, but Wilkerson had the better lane and better run down that way. So congrats to Tim Wilkerson and the funny cars. And Top Fuel, it was Clay Millican versus Josh Hart. And this is actually the only one that happened. It was in the left lane. Clay Millican beats Josh Hart. And what a race it was. 7 1,000ths of a second is the final time difference. It was insane. So Route 66 Raceway put on another great event, and we'll see if they make that a regular race. Now it's the first time they've been back there in a while. One thing just to touch on is the Indy cars. They had their qualifying for the Indianapolis 500 today, and Alex Palou gets the pole, and correct me if I'm wrong, has set a new pole record for the Indianapolis 500, beating out Scott Dixon's previous record. And the big story is that Graham Rahal got bumped out of it. There's one car that was going to miss out, and very shocking that Graham Rahal is going to miss the Indianapolis 500. Just a good driver, and just surprising that it happened that way. But it's racing, and that's just how it goes sometimes. All right, getting into some dirt racing, we're going to touch on the All-Stars. All-Stars had a rain out on Saturday, so they only had 2 races. It was Friday and Sunday. Zeb Wise takes the win at Outlaw Speedway. Zeb Wise has found a groove right now and has been very, very fast and very consistent now. They head up to Weedsport on Sunday, and there was one car that was really able to run the outside and make it hook up. Everybody's running the inside, and the one car that was able to do a difference ends up winning the race. And it's Corey Eliason. And he gets the lead with about 5 laps to go. And he's just riding the wall the entire time, and nobody else was doing that. He found something that worked and was able to make it come out victorious there for his 9th All-Star win. From what I could tell, that track was slick as hell. Everybody had their wings back the whole way and just looked like they were like driving on ice. Maybe it was the angle of the camera, but I still think it was pretty dang slick for that. So Eliason making something work on a different groove than everybody else, that's pretty impressive. All right, going for the World of Outlaws. I got this one right, and Dad got the next day right, because it was a double up victory with Donnie Schatz. Donnie Schatz wins a thriller at Attica. What a race between himself, Carson Macedo, and Rico Abreu. 3-car battle for the win. He was slicing and dicing. Used lap traffic to set picks and get around. Used to advantage, and he goes ahead and gets the win at Attica. Such a dusty track, too. It was crazy how dusty it was. I don't think it was as dusty as the All-Star race, though. But it was still pretty. It was up there. Like I say, he doubled up and won his first ever race at Sharon Speedway. That's hard to believe. He's like, I never won here before. I mean, he's had so many dang wins. I mean, you start like forgetting. You're not gonna forget the big ones like Knoxville Nationals and obviously the Eldora Million. If he wins that, he's gonna remember that one forever. But these smaller tracks and races, yeah, you could forget pretty quickly. But it was really the battle for second. He dominated the whole race. Schatz did. Battle for second was crazy. David Gravel, Carson Macedo's just mixing it up every dang race right now. And he's been fast. I still think he's the points leader. And I'll have to double check the points coming up, but he's either first or second. He's been very, very good this year. And Brad Sweet was also battling for the second position. So what a insane race. Just great dirt racing right now. It's just been very fun to watch the Outlaws. And if you don't tune into Outlaws, go check them out at least on the YouTube channels and watch the highlights and how exciting they are. And make sure you keep tuning in because they race a ton of races every year, but it's it's already very exciting and keeping up with that. All right, we're going to go once again, my final thoughts on the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Just a couple rants real quick. The negatives. Biggest thing is it was a Sunday night. It was packed still. And it was a shorter race. I mean, I can understand there's some Sunday night. But here's the thing. You put yourself at risk, NASCAR, to have a rain out and then you lose all that attendance because not a whole lot of people are going to come back Monday. Maybe for that race because it's such a nostalgic, historic track. They would have called out sick to work. I probably would have too. But make it on Saturday night, doublehead it with the truck race. That would have been really cool. And I've been saying need to have a lot of double headers in NASCAR. Bring the attendance in for multiple series, and get more people interested in the younger drivers, up and coming drivers, so they can have fan favorites early on, and they can you can get attendance improved, and TV numbers will also improve as well. So as soon as people have somebody to root for that they know, because these drivers go in, they're like, who the heck is this? Well, you didn't watch the other series. But I do really want to do a tip of the cap to Josh Berry for positive notes. Filling in for his second Hendrick Motorsports team after he's filled in for Chase Elliott. Now he's filling in for Alex Bowman. He won the All-Star Open and gets in the race. I mean, I figured he could have, especially starting second. But just his late model experience and with worn-out tracks, short tracks like that, he knew what he was doing. So I've been very impressed, and I wish him the best wherever he ends up going next year because I know he's got a ride lined up, and I'm pretty sure he's going to end up in the number 4 to replace Kevin Harvick after he retires. So hopefully Tony can get a talented driver like that, and he missed out on Kyle Larson, and I know he's been upset ever since. So I would lock down Josh Berry because I think he's going to be potential champion in the future. And there's a lot of drama in the open race. And Michael McDowell was very upset with Ty Gibbs to the point where when he was a lap down, he was getting in Ty's way and making it a lot harder on him to advance into the actual All-Star race. So that was a little interesting right there. But McDowell, I mean, he's not going to talk any type of smack or anything like that. It's not how he does. He just shows it on the racetrack. He's a really good guy. So, but Ty Gibbs actually been pretty quiet considering his racing style in the Xfinity Series and how aggressive it was. You can almost say it's very similar to how Chastain races. But he hasn't really raced too aggressively in the Cup Series. He's trying to earn everybody's respect, so gotta respect him for that. But looking at the All-Star finishes, I mean, obviously Larson dominated, but seeing you see 23-11, second and third, Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick, they got something going right now, and I think you'll definitely see Bubba Wallace in in victory lane. He casually said Hendrick's cheating or something, but I mean that's just a joke. He was clearly kidding on that stuff and just BSing around. But I mean, he's like, it sucks getting second in the All-Star race because you don't get anything, you don't get the million. There's no points, whatever. Second doesn't matter. But I don't know if anybody's going to catch Larson after they adjusted that. It's crazy. But I think Bubba's going to get a win. I think you're going to see another win or two from Tyler Reddick as well down the stretch as well. It's just inevitable, I think. They're very good good cars, good crews, and talented drivers anyways. Now with Larson, one thing I want to say is how many similarities are between how he races with Cliff Daniels and how Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus were. Now, Jimmy and Chad would argue a lot more. Larson doesn't say a whole lot on the radio. He tries to. He stays relatively quiet compared to a lot of drivers. But I really think Cliff Daniels is the next Chad Knaus. How many times did Jimmy Johnson go to a track? They're like, this is complete garbage. This car is terrible, and they come away with the win. We're starting to see that with Larson, and they're starting to get hot. They've been in contention pretty much every week. And now they just need to have a little bit of luck on their side and a little less Chastain on their side to get some wins. And obviously you're going to see him to be a favorite at the 600 that he's won before. It's just it's going to be pretty interesting this season. Larry McReynolds alluded to it. He was saying, there's a good possibility that this could be a repeat like the 2021 season where Larson and the 5 teams started getting hot beginning of the summer. And this is where the stretch, if you get hot, you can use that momentum, get all those points, and at least make it to a round of 8 in the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see. What I want to announce right now, we're going to try a live show on Sunday morning, Memorial Day Sunday, before the Indianapolis 500. And going to be doing that with my dad. We talked about that on Crew Chief Corner. But make sure you tune in. I'm going to try to work out all the kinks this week, how to set it up and how we need to do things. But it should be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to get a couple surprise guests as well. So make sure you tune in and live chat with us. And we'll BS around and preview some of the racing for that day. And we'll talk about the dirt racing that happens this week. We're not going to do a preview episode this week because we're going to do everything all in one on Sunday. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow anywhere, any social media platforms, and anywhere you get your podcasts. We'll see you guys live next Sunday and see how this goes. Everybody have a good week. See you then.